Rick Macci here with the #1 sports science guru in the world. I've done this for a long time. I can honestly say I've never learned more from anybody in my whole career about, biomechanics and just how a lot of this stuff is done through Brian's research. Okay, everything he's done over his career, okay, is beyond epic. Okay, and the fact that he every day of the week gets on the court with thousands of people around the world, works on stroke mechanics. I've seen this. We were way ahead of the curve, 15 years ago. Just what was coming on the horizon, and everything this guy has said is unmatched. I know a lot of guys in the business. Okay, a lot of this stuff's regurgitated, twisted, and turned, but everything he's done is science-based. His research is incredible. His PhD is in biomechanics. He did his thesis on this stuff. So he's a leader in the clubhouse, but I'm here on court 16. It's really the best kept secret in the world. It's at the Rick Macci Tennis Center. Brian does his thing back here, okay? As you can see, there's cameras all around this court, okay? They're not there to take a picture. There's a lot more that's going on here, and I want Brian now to kind of take this over and explain exactly what he does, because it's beyond cutting edge. A lot of people, do video and they look at this and they do that, but this is a whole different level. And anybody, any age, it doesn't matter, kids or adult, you should come to this tennis center and, team up with Brian. And no one can put the strokes together and break it down like this guy. So what I'd like you to do, Brian, is just kind of explain what happens here, and then if we have to go into your little cubicle there and you explain, just take it from there.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks so much. So this court is about 1 year in development. It's taken a long time to put together all the technology. The idea of this is it's a player development court first of all, but also a research court. And what I've always tried to do in my tennis career is put the two things together. So how can we put the research together with the player development and come up with a system that is, as you say, cutting edge, but also very effective in developing players. So on this particular court here, we have a 3D motion capture system. I use that both for player development. So,
when you say 3D capture, a lot of people wouldn't understand that. I mean, obviously I do, but what exactly does that mean?
So 3D capture is the process of using multiple cameras filming at the same time to construct a 3D model or skeleton of the player. So it's done completely in 3 dimensions at very high speeds. It's not video. It's actually a numerical mapping of the person as they're hitting the strokes. Because it's a numerical mapping, then it allows us to do a lot of computations, calculations that get really down deep into a person's stroke mechanics or stroke mechanics in general that you can never ever get from a video.
So you're not even in the weeds, you're below the weeds.
Yeah, we're going deep. we're going
to the dark side here.
We're going deep into the neuromuscular skeletal system, really, to figure all this stuff out. So, when you have something like this, which is 8 cameras, state of the art, this is the newest of the new. Previous systems that we've had, you had to wear a bunch of markers and it interfered with the performance. This one, we can get research grade data with nothing on the body whatsoever.
And didn't you go all the way to Germany to kind of get a lot of this stuff, people putting some of this together for you?
This system is actually built in Germany. It's a German company out of Munich, and I'm working together with them to actually develop a tennis application. So they're very interested in getting into the tennis realm. It's been very complicated to get it adapted to tennis, honestly. It's taken quite a while, but now it's up and running and it's very solid. So so the idea is, how can you take this super advanced technology? I mean, I can capture information even if someone's playing a match. In fact, I do it all the time. Yeah. Right. So these cameras can be filming, you don't have to wear anything, and it's capturing research grade, 3-dimensional data on the fly. So it's great. So then the question becomes, like, how do you use this in player development? Well, You can measure the players, and you can understand things about their strokes that you can never ever see on a video.
Right.
Okay. The biggest power of it, though, is in repeated measures. So in other words, you take a measurement and you get an assessment of what's going on, and then you work on it for a while, and then you take a second measurement. And then you can put the results of those measurements or captures together side by side, and you can see exactly how everything has changed. So as a coach, were you successful? Did you fail? If you failed, what are you going to do about it? So that's the power of it from a player development perspective. From the research perspective, it's really two things. One is I continually want to understand more about the strokes. Like, I understand a lot about tennis strokes through my research over a very long time, but there's other things that I don't know. So one of them is to figure that out. But the biggest goal of the current research project is to put together tools that would be usable by players or coaches in a simple way without having to understand the science or the math behind it. That would be very effective in building stroke mechanics into players. Now, we both know stroke mechanics is kind of a dirty word in tennis. People don't like to deal with it. It's not fun for the kids to deal with it, and it's very confusing. It's complicated. So can you develop tools that would put the power of biomechanics, tennis biomechanics, in the hands of anyone without any background, and be able to have a way to understand the options that are available in tennis stroke technique, but also as a way to assess over time if someone's progressing along that particular method that you teach. Rick and I have developed, through my research I developed, and Rick has been fundamental in putting it out there, an optimized version of stroke mechanics. Okay? We call it the best system here, and it's an optimized version. So through the research, we can figure out what, if you could do a certain thing, what would you do? But realistically, not everyone's going to be able to do that. In fact, no one can probably do it. So how do you take that model and adapt it to other philosophies or other coaching systems or whatever? So I guess that's really what I'm trying to do here. There's a player development aspect to this, and there's a research development aspect to this. And in the research aspect, it's understanding, but it's also developing world-class tools. And in a nutshell, that's what we're doing on Court 16 here at the Macci Center. It looks like a normal court, but this is the most advanced court in the world.
Absolutely.
No question about it.
No question about it. I don't even know what's going on out here. Listen, no, that's all good stuff. Listen, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, like I said, any age, any level, the proof's in the pudding. I've just seen Brian's work over the last 15, 20 years, not only as my partner, okay, and just watching him build stroke mechanics, okay, and just the way people hit the ball. Now, there's other elements, as Bryce said, running and genetics and all these other things that go into the equation. But the one thing you got control over, if you're in the right hands, like a guy like him, is there a better way? There's not a wrong way or a right way. Is there a better way to maybe hit the forehand or backhand or serve? And this isn't cloning, because everybody's bringing different attributes to the table, but there are common threads. And if you get a chance, okay, you want to get a hold of Brian, you can go to info@rickmacci.com. How can people get a hold of you?
Through their website is the best way to get a hold of me. It's tennisperformanceresearch.com. Yeah, a little bit lengthy, but it kind of describes everything that I do.
Yeah, no, it's a game changer. At the end of the day, the proof's in the pudding, and all I care about is proving. And there's not one guy in the world with understanding stroke mechanics better than Dr. Brian Gordon.